requirement provided to open public meeting law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given and notice has been transmitted to the Courier News and the Star Ledger on Monday, January 7, 2013, as well as posting on the bulletin board and the city's website. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Yes, Councilwoman Tracy Brown.
Here.
Councilwoman Vera Breeze.
Here.
Councilman Adrian Knight.
Here.
Councilman Corey Stewart.
Here.
Councilwoman Rebecca Williams.
Here.
Chairman William Reed.
Here.
Council President Chris Burke.
Here.
All members of the council are present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. And Madam Clerk, do we have any communications from the mayor?
Yes, the Honorable Shan Robinson Boyd has submitted correspondence on the date of July 22nd, 2013, addressed to members of the municipal council, expressing objection by way of veto of MC 2013-05, which prohibits smoking on city property. From her honor, the mayor correspondence dated August 7, 2013, addressed to members of the governing body, requesting the advice and consent of the following nominee to serve as a member of the Plainfield Housing Authority: Ricky Williams, 1106 Park Avenue, apartment A-18, for a 5-year term ending July 1st, 2018. From her honor, the mayor, correspondence dated August 7, 2013, addressed to members of the governing body, requesting advice and consent of the following nominees to serve as members of the Plainfield Municipal Utilities Authority: Malcolm Dunn of 1038 Central Avenue, Cecil H. Stanley Jr., 1066 Allenwood Drive, Barbara James, 1 Needlewood Avenue, Carol Ann Brokar, 1049 Field Avenue, Alex Talbot, 123 Sumner Avenue. From her honor, the mayor, correspondence dated August 7, 2013, addressed to members of the governing body, requesting advice and consent of the following nominees to serve as members of the Plainfield Zoning Board of Adjustment: Robert K. Graham, 1111 East Front Street; Eric Graham, alternate number 1 of 276 Geneva Place. Do I have consensus to move these items to the agenda?
No.
Your roll call?
Councilwoman Tracy Brown.
This is to move it to the agenda.
Yes.
It has to be on all the communications.
I can do one by one. Actually, that's not one.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to do.
Councilman Storrs, these items are basically, we're seeking consensus to move them for vote, the appointments for next week. That's what, based on the nominations of the mayor, it will require consensus of the council to make it to the regular voting
Oh, I
session.
see, because they're not actually on.
No, they're communication seeking nomination.
Council President, you still like me to do a roll call vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Tracy Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Vera Breeze.
Yes.
Councilman Adrian Knight.
No.
Councilman Corey Stewart.
No.
Councilwoman Rebecca Williams.
No.
Chairman William Reed.
Please clarify what I'm voting on again. I'm voting to do what?
You're voting to add these items to the agenda for the next meeting.
All the items together?
Yeah.
Yes, all of them. All of them.
I do have some problem, I guess I'll express those next week, but you know, this is, we need to discuss this really, because as an example, the Plainfield Housing Authority, this person we've had here several times, there have been several proposals to add him. And now we're saying the 5-year term ending the 18th, 2018. Is this in conformity with the requirements, the staggered
Yes.
commissionship over there?
Yes.
Okay. What about the council taking up the balance of what's needed? It's my understanding that Owen Fletcher is not there anymore. There are several other commissioners on that board that need us to look at it. I would prefer to do it all at once. So my vote is no. And if you go down to the Plainfield Municipal Utility Authority, I'm not sure what's going on there. We have to look at that. And I'm not sure of the zoning board either. So my answer is no.
Council President Bridget Williams. Okay, these items will not be added to the agenda.
Any other communications or petitions?
Yes, correspondence dated August 5th, 2013, from Mr. Santos Sandoval, Associate Pastor, and Evangelica Mission of the Holy Spirit Incorporated, requested permission from the governing body for the closure of Central Avenue between 7th and 8th Street for the purpose of conducting an outdoor religious celebration in recognition of independence of Central America. Said event is tentatively scheduled to take place on Sunday, September 15th, 2013, from 1 p.m. through 8 p.m. Next item is Mr. Edison Garcia has submitted a request to the governing body seeking approval for a street and sidewalk encroachment to conduct its 5th annual Fiesta Days celebrating the independence of Central America to be held at the municipal parking lot identified as number 8-8A. Said Fiesta Festival is tentatively scheduled to take place on September 6, 2013, September 7th, and September 8th, 2013, from 12 p.m. through 11 p.m. Correspondence dated August 1st, 2013, from Reverend Silvio Del Campo, Associate Pastor, First Presbyterian Church, has requested permission from the governing body for the use of parking lot number 9, which is located on 2nd Street and Central Avenue for the purpose of conducting religious praising activities. This said event is tentatively scheduled to take place on Saturday, September 7th, from 10 a.m. through 5 p.m. Correspondence received from Mr. George E. Withers, G-Wiz Auto Entertainment, requesting permission from the governing body for a street and sidewalk encroachment to conduct its 5th annual Latin Rides car, truck, and bike show. Said request would require the closure of Front Street between Park Avenue and Watchung Avenue. Said event is tentatively scheduled to take place on Sunday, September 22nd, 2013, from 10 a.m. through 7 p.m. Correspondence received from Mr. Carl Hayton, President of Prime Example Motorcycle Club, requesting permission from the governing body for a street and sidewalk encroachment to conduct a grand opening celebration on North Avenue between Berkman Street and Richmond Street. Said event is typically scheduled to take place on Sunday, September 15, 2013, from 1 p.m. through 7 p.m. Last is correspondence submitted by Council President Bridget Rivers and Councilman Vera Greaves requested approval from the governing body for a street closure to conduct the 2nd annual Community Appreciation Day on West 3rd Street between Plainfield Avenue and Liberty Street. Said event is tentatively scheduled to take place on Saturday, August 24th, 2013, from 8 a.m. through 8 p.m. Do I have a consensus to move these items to the agenda?
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Oh, Mr. Garcia, I think, did we waive his fees the last time?
We reduced them.
We waived one, I believe we waived 2 days of the 3-day,
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think
Event.
we should waive the fees this time on that one. And the Withers, G-Wiz, I don't think we should waive any fees that would be connected with that one, as well as Mr. Hayden's Prime Example Motorcycle Club. I don't think we should waive the fees at that. Also, they would be required to have the proper security from our police department, and I think that should be, if that happens, I have no problem with it. And of course, the religious celebration, we need more of those here in Plainfield, I'm sure.
Amen.
So I approve all of those. I will approve all of those.
Council President, we have requested some members of these groups to be here if they have any questions for any of them.
You guys have any questions?
Council President, I don't have any questions, but I just want to make a statement as far as the request from Mr. Edison Garcia and the other sponsors of similar festivals what I would like to see is for us to receive early application requests for the use of these public spaces. I support these events. I think they are wonderful events. I was at the one that is in parking lot number 1 that ended yesterday. I was there. There were thousands of people in attendance, and I think these events are very good for the city. And I would love for us to use these kinds of events as a promotion tool, but they've got to be done and planned well in advance. And so I would just like to encourage the sponsors of these events in the future, look at the calendar, plan in advance, and give the governing body enough time to consider your requests. But all in all, I am supportive of these events.
Thank you. Is there consensus to move these to the agenda?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
With regard to Mr. Garcia's request, he just did an event.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Edison Garcia just held an event, a few weeks ago, and it just strikes me as odd that all of a sudden, less than a month later, with less than a month to go, we're getting another request to hold another event. So I don't know that every single one of these schedules, these festivals every weekend, and especially by the same person, are necessary or desirable. So I'm not going to say yes to that one.
Can you do a roll call?
We're just moving it to the agenda.
Yeah, we did, we're just moving it.
But okay, yeah, I just wanna make-
So do I have consensus to move it to the
Yes.
agenda?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'm moving on, financial reports. Oh. Okay, so everybody received the reports?
Yep.
Okay, has there been any reports of special committees? Madam Clerk? No minutes?
That's good.
Now it's time to read any reports into the record.
Any reports?
There's no report from admin and finance.
Public safety, I will have it before next week's meeting.
Okay, moving right along, discussion item about the safe box. This was something that Trenton did, I believe. It's a safe box, and what it is they put these boxes in like different community centers, churches, and if there's any type of crime activity going on, instead of calling the hotline, you can walk into these open committees, open communities, and put the information in that box. And once a month or twice a month, you have someone from the police department to go and get that information out of the box, because a lot of times people are afraid to call the 911 line or the tips line because they're afraid of the repercussions. So this was something that was passed by Trenton's City Council. So this is something that I'm bringing as a discussion to our governing body to see if we would be interested in doing something like this. Any questions?
Just a comment. Anything that's going to help us fight crime is good, especially fighting crime without locking up all these young people for nothing, it seems like to me. And I'd like to get more information on the safe box, and also have a feeling that they will probably be less used than they're on telephone, but if we have them there, maybe that's another way of doing it. I have no problems with the idea of it.
Can I ask if Director Helwig, have you heard, Director Helwig?
Good evening, Madam President. Martin Helwig, Director of Public Safety. I've recently heard about this initiative, and I believe that it would probably be a good idea. It's new as far as learning about it. There are some particulars that I would have some questions about, but any way we can receive intelligence, if the community can bring something to our attention is a good thing.
Can we get more information from the administration for our next meeting? Thank you so much. Now we're moving on to unfinished business. There were some questions that were asked, administration, are you prepared? Should be. Yeah.
Let me just tell you what has reached my desk. I'm gonna have to get some help from the rest of my team because I wasn't here last meeting, but I thank Mr. Jackson for running point. The one I do have is Mr. Tolliver had asked several questions regarding the First Ward road improvements project. He questioned whether the paving currently being done on Emerson would stop you for the summer. He further questioned what would the paving plans for the summer be. And Mr. Jackson to help me out on that. I appreciate that.
Good evening, Council. Eric Jackson, Director of Public Works and Urban Development. With regard to the question, we're currently working on Emerson. That project is just about 90% complete. We have a little bit more to do with regard to some of the curbing that exists on Emerson, and we're in the final phases of contract 4 that will run us through the balance of the summer into the fall. That will basically run us through the end of the paving season. So those streets that were in your contract 4 listing are the ones that we're currently working on and completing right now.
Thank you. The second question I have was in reference to several accusations. It's actually a complaint for the senior citizen, and I know Mr. Rustino did some research on that. Mr. Stewart has some other follow-up questions. So if Mr. Rustino would answer that question.
Good evening, Council. Alan Rustino, Director of Administration and Finance. It's my understanding that the questions related to specifically the grievance process in the event there was concerns brought forth by any members of the senior committee, by the members of the senior center. There is a CARES committee located amongst the senior center, which is representative of various members of the senior center users. It is a committee that's chosen or elected by the seniors. To take it a step further, in the event that there is a complaint, it would go to the CARES committee, and in the event it related to a particular personnel issue, it would come to my attention as I stand here today. There's been nothing brought forth relating to last week's conversations. The other thing that is, each member of the senior center is given a copy of the senior handbook, and in it is contained the language relating to the process that I just outlined. And again, I'm open, if there is any concerns that anyone needs to bring to my attention, obviously we would address those and take anything along those nature very seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Rustino. If there's anything else that I missed, you can get back to me, Madam President. That's all I have.
Madam President, I'd like to express my appreciation and thank the Public Works Department for the activities in cleaning up our city. I noticed on my block, however, a couple of people are putting trash out. It's not trash cutting out time. So we need to be cognizant again of the time, and I would suggest the administration place it on the television. The second thing is, if anyone is going across Leland Avenue, and even Ellison, any of those streets over there, you're going to feel proud of your Plainfield and the way those streets were done. I've seen no complaints on the contractor. They did a hell of a good job. And I'd like to see all of our streets that way. Of course, we can't do it because of money. And finally, I've been suggesting that we embark upon some type of street care program of preventive maintenance in which we would close up cracks before the water seeps underneath. In addition to that, we have some excellent equipment everywhere this equipment has been used, and I noticed there are no potholes there. And I'm suggesting again that the administration look at that and maybe put a team of men together to make some better repairs on our streets where it's not necessary to do the whole street. But they did a hell of a job on those streets, and I can compliment our engineering company for writing those specs and listening to some of the things that was suggested to be added. If you go up South Avenue, you see the nice crosswalks, and they put some of them on Leland Avenue. It makes me proud to be in the East Ward. Okay, thank you. And in Plainfield, of course.
Thank you, Councilman. Great comments, thank you. Now I'm turning it over to the committee of the whole, please.
Oh, yes, thank you, thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a nice crowd out tonight, and it shows me that you're interested in the work that we're doing up here. And if you have an agenda, we'll proceed with item 7, the consideration of public hearings and second reading and final passage of ordinance MC 2013-06, an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 2, Administration, Chapter 2, City Council, Article 2, rather, City Council, Section 3, President of the Council, Section 4, Duties of the President of the Council, Section 9, Regular Meetings, Section 11, Agenda, Section 12, Quorum, Adjournment, Section 13, Voting, and Section 15, Order of Business, and the Municipal Code of the City of Plainfield, New Jersey, 1971. Do I have permission to add that to the agenda for next week?
Yes.
Any questions on this part? Okay. Item 8, resolutions and new business, the legislative body. Item A is the customary resolution authorizing the override of the mayor's veto of MC 2013-05 prohibiting smoking on city property. Any comments and suggestions as it relates to this override of the veto, which I understand you need 5 of us voting to override it?
That's correct, 2/3 vote.
2/3 votes. Should I add it to the agenda?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Item B, customary resolution authorizing the renewal of certain preliminary retail consumption license for the 2013-2014 license term issued to 116 Watchung Avenue, LLC. Do I have permission to continue that?
Yes.
He has paid the required renewal fees. And I think we should send some information out with these renewals that, you know, these renewal fees and taxes is costing us money to keep reviewing them every meeting. This is about, what, the 4th meeting we looked at it. And if you own a business, you should at least pay a renewal fee. Item B,
That's item C.
item C, rather. Did I do it? Okay. Item C, customary resolution authorizing renewal of, again, liquor license 2014 issued to Watchung Liquors, Inc., trading as Plainfield Liquors. Do I?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Customary resolution in D, authorizing renewal of the retail consumption license for 2013-2014 for the Jose, I guess that is, Jorge E. Sophia Mancier, trading as Latino Corporation on South Avenue.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay? They have received tax clearance. Cosmetic resolution in E, authorizing renewal of, again, liquor license for 2013-2014 for the Bamba Inn, Inc., trading as La Bamba Inn, located at 12628 North Avenue. Do I have permission to add that to the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Item F, Councilmatic resolution stipulating that the governing body of the city of Plainfield, acting as a duly authorized local alcohol beverage control board, not grant renewal for 2013-2014 license term for the establishment known as Niken Inc., trading as Arlington Liquors, Clinton Deli Grocery. Do I have permission to put that on the agenda?
Yes.
No.
No? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Tracy Brown,
No.
Councilwoman Vera Reese,
No.
Councilman Adrian Mack,
Yes.
Councilman Corey Storch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rebecca Williams,
Yes.
Chairman William Reed,
No.
Council President Bridget Brittens.
No.
Can we just discuss what the effect of not putting this on the agenda is?
Yes. I think we are all aware of the effect, but the attorney can address it again.
Certainly, if the council does not vote to not renew, then I recommend that a resolution be placed on the agenda to renew the license. Considering that if there are not enough votes to not renew, I would say the only logical conclusion is to do the opposite.
So the only way we could not renew it is to put it on the agenda and vote to not renew it. So we didn't, and we just decided not to do that.
That's correct.
I just
Excuse me,
wanted
Madam
to-
President.
Can I ask for my colleagues to reconsider the actions on this particular item? We did have a rather lengthy hearing in open session where we had evidence presented by our Plainfield Police Department. Very compelling evidence that spoke to a number of violations, and we know that we have had hearings in the past concerning this particular entity. But the hearings that we had last month, there was compelling evidence from our Plainfield Police Department. There was mention of a crime whereby the owner of the establishment pled guilty. There was mention of the arrest for drug possession on the part of one of the employees, and the list goes on and on. Absolutely. And so I don't know if my colleagues are conscious or were aware of exactly what we were voting on, but by voting or by not giving the consensus to move this forward to the agenda for next week, it means that we are saying that we are okay with the behavior that has been exhibited out of this establishment. And I don't know that we want to do that. Is that what we want to say?
Yeah, I just want to echo that, that two of these people, the owner and his daughter, were both arrested for drugs, selling drugs in the establishment.
Not the owner.
He was arrested for selling to an underage individual, selling alcohol to an underage individual. His daughter was arrested for selling drugs inside the store, and she was rearrested, I believe, or she was cited again because she was told not to be there, and she went back to do the same thing. These people are a menace to our city, selling drugs in their liquor store, which already had, I think, in excess of 100 and something police calls since last year when they were cited, and we tried to, take some action last year, and we were promised that, all the conditions, the special conditions that we placed on this establishment, some of them were met, but the one, I guess, that said, selling illegal drugs behind your counter, that one they decided to ignore. Selling alcohol to underage individuals, they decided to ignore that. So they seem to feel that they don't have to abide by the laws of the state, the laws of our city. So I really think, I wish everybody had been able to be at that hearing because, you know, even the owner offered absolutely no defense for his own arrest and his daughter's arrest. Again, they're a menace.
There was another establishment on, I think that was on Fifth Street, that had a lot of the same issues. And we allotted them the opportunity to clean themselves up, and they did clean themselves up. This establishment, this owner did not sell drugs to anyone.
No, I said that he sold the alcohol to the underage
But I
person,
think
his
there
daughter.
was a sweep that was going on. I mean, and it doesn't make it right, but what we're basically saying is this typical person has about 11 properties. He's on the tax roll. He pays a lot of taxes in the city of Plainfield. And what we're just saying is, I'm not saying that we're going to renew this man's license, but what we're saying is let's give him a chance with some type of stipulations as to what, if any, he can do to change. Because I will say that Fifth Street, they cleaned their house, and now they're operating in the right manner. You know, if that's the case, there's a lot of other liquor establishments in the city of Plainfield that have just as many crimes that goes on in there also. So what I'm saying is I'm not trying to take someone's livelihood away from them. We can give this man a chance with some stipulations.
I just want to make another comment, and again, you know, he was given a chance. I mean, he came before us, when I first came on the council in 11, hundreds of violations, well in excess of 100 violations. He came before us last year with probably around the same or even more violations. And we put specific and serious conditions on him last year and this year to find that he's still doing the same thing. And the police have said to us when we sat on the Alcohol Beverage Control Board, said this guy, I mean, in effect, he's a menace and he does not deserve a license if he's going to just, you know, flout our laws. These aren't, you know, misdemeanor charges. These are criminal charges. These are serious charges. So I would just say he's been given a chance. He's been given many chances. And, you know, he just seems to think that he can operate with impunity. The next time, you know, if they're, you know, what we're trying to also prevent is drug use among our youth. We're trying to prevent drug sales. We're trying to prevent, you know, alcohol incidents. If he's just going to be selling alcohol to minors, if he's going to allow his daughter to sell drugs out of his establishment, what are we saying? That's my final comment.
His daughter was barred from his establishment
And went back the very
selling her
next day.
prescription drugs.
And she went back the very next day when she was barred. She returned the next day.
Let's move on. Let's
Let
move
them
on.
get it out. Let them say what they have to say.
I just want to make one additional comment, Council President. Go ahead. Yeah. With all due respect to my colleagues who see things differently, I think given the evidence that was presented, in light of the compelling case that our police officers presented to the governing body, if we are to look the other way, as the consensus or lack thereof suggests, what we are saying to our police officers is that we don't care how well you do your job. We don't care if you go out there and you bring back the evidence. We are just going to look the other way. And I think that's a wrong and bad signal for us to send. This establishment was given a number of opportunities to clean up its act. And it just ignored every one of those opportunities. And we are going to give the kind of reasoning that we just put on the record for not doing the right thing? Are we going to wait for another murder to be committed down on Clinton and Front Street? Is that what we're going to wait for? Now is the time for us to act.
I just want to say, Madam President, I was not aware of the findings of the hearing. I was not at the last meeting. And my vote to put it on the agenda was not a vote to renew it. But based on Mr. Hellwood's findings, I would like to change my vote.
It's on the agenda. May I move on?
Thank you.
Administrative and executive branch, they have none. On the Corporation Council, you do have some you'd like to add.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to add a few items that were discussed at length during the executive session. First is a resolution authorizing the satisfaction of the municipal excess liability deductible in the amount of $2,310 on the Whitley versus the City of Plainfield matter.
Okay, that'll be on the agenda.
Yes.
Thank you. Secondly, a resolution authorizing settlement in the matter of Barrera Carrasquillo v. City of Plainfield in the amount of $80,000.
That'll be on the agenda.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing settlement in the matter of Melissa Howe v. City of Plainfield, workers' compensation matter, in the amount of $45,548.
It'll be on the agenda.
Resolution authorizing settlement in the matter involving the Union County Improvement Authority and the Park Madison building.
That would definitely be on the agenda.
Thank you. Continue, a resolution authorizing an appropriation for special counsel Keith Bonchi in the amount of $10,000.
Yes.
Yes.
And a resolution authorizing an appropriation for Antonelli Mincello in the amount of $35,000.
Yes.
And finally, a resolution authorizing the submission of a layoff plan to the New Jersey Department of Personnel.
Yes.
Thank you, nothing further.
Thank you. Department of Administration and Finance, item G, resolution authorizing Plainfield Action Service to receive the 2013 final funding allocation for the Community Service Block Grant from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs in the amount of $136,634.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, with a request to the city administrator, in our packet, could we get the line item budget for that program? For the whole year, not just for this portion, because this is only about 2/3 of it.
You want that to be presented before the vote next week, or you say
Yeah,
not?
just to put it in the packet so we can see what they're spending the money on.
So it's on the agenda, Resolution H, authorizing the approval to amend the city municipal budget, inserting special items of revenue and appropriation in accordance with NJSA 40A:4-87.
Yes.
Some discussion on this, Madam President, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
This is the item where we decided last month that we would not include the UEZ funding for administrative salaries. And so I am recommending that we do the same thing again, that we not include any UEZ dollars into the budget as a Chapter 159, and that we move forward with the other items and exclude the UEZ items.
And that would be amending the resolution if we approve it to go on the agenda, amending it not to include those items you're saying,
That is
that
correct.
UEZ stuff. Is that okay, Mr.
Yeah.
Council?
Yes.
Yes.
If that is the will of the council, we will amend the resolution to not include the UEZ funds, if that is the will of the council.
Yes.
Anyone have any other objections? Okay, it's on the agenda. Resolution I, authorizing the adjustment of the 211 tax accounts due to the county tax court judgment totaling $353,793.68 in tax reductions as listed on Schedule A.
Yes.
Question.
Yes,
So
Mr.
have we accounted for this revenue reduction in the current year's budget?
Mr. Zena?
The question was, Is it in the budget?
Have we accounted for it? Yeah, it's a revenue reduction,
Yeah, right.
getting less money because of tax appeals.
Yes, there, good evening, Al Rustano again, Director of Administration and Finance. There's a reserve for uncollected taxes in the budget, so this would be accounted in that.
This
in that.
covers it.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Item, so we got it on the agenda.
Yes.
Okay. Item J, resolution authorizing a refund of overdue taxes totaling $39,948.85 on 37 properties as listed on the schedule.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Item K, resolution authorizing approval of the reinstatement of the senior citizen deduction on 29 accounts in the city of Plainfield per attached schedule of $7,250.
Yes.
Item L, resolution authorizing the approval of the cancel tax bill for the tax exempt properties identified as Block 248, Lot 5, commonly known as 332 West Front Street.
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the application and execution of a grant agreement with the Union County Arts Grant Program to the Senior Citizen Service Center for a period commencing January 1, 2004 to December 31, 2004 for an initial amount of $5,000. Any
Yes.
objections? That's advanced planning, isn't it? Resolution authorizing submission of a renewal contract and application with the New Jersey Department of Health and Senior Services, City of Plainfield, Division of Health for Women, Infants, and Children. Supplement Nutritional Program, the WIC program, for the period commencing October 1, 2013 through September 30, 2014 in the amount of $716,500.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along then. Department of Public Affairs and Safety, we have no resolutions. Mr. Police Director, is this okay with you?
Yes.
None? Okay. Department of Public Works and Urban Development, resolution authorizing the award of a professional service contract to the Remington Varick Engineers for a basketball court rehabilitation at the Matheson Playground and Seidel Field in the amount not to exceed $12,525.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, resolution P.
Could we just ask, like, who wrote the grant?
Who wrote what, sir?
The
Who
grant.
wrote the grant? Give credit where credit is
Yeah,
due.
exactly.
We know?
I don't know.
I think the person who knows just left the room. Okay, we'll get back.
Okay, P, resolution authorizing approval to submit a grant application, accept the grant and maintenance of the project, and execute a grant agreement with the County of Union for the 2013 Kid Recreation Trust Fund with no amount attached to it.
Yes.
Okay? Any problems with that?
Is that
Anyone else?
related to the previous?
Okay, resolution Q. Authorizing approval for project financing to the King University Satellite Small Business Development Center in the city of Plainfield, an amount not to exceed $30,000.
I would like to,
explanation on this one. Do you have an
I want to
explanation?
make a comment about this one.
Yeah.
This, we've already seen this one.
Twice.
Twice?
Twice.
And we said that we didn't want to entertain it.
Can't hear you.
We said we didn't want to entertain it, and now we're seeing it again, and actually the date of the memo is May 13th, so it looks like the same exact, with no new information, so I don't understand why we would want to keep putting things back on the agenda that we've already decided we don't want to do.
Is there someone here from King? I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Madam President, before he comes to the microphone, what I don't understand is what is even the basis for this request to be presented to the governing body? Why are we even being asked to use city dollars to pay the rent for space that Kane University has at a private establishment? Why is this even before us? That's what I don't understand. So I don't know that that we need someone to come before the microphone. The question is, why is a request being made to the city of Plainfield to pay the rent for a third party at another third party establishment?
You have an answer for
There
that?
are specific rules that govern how government dollars are spent. And I don't believe that this request meets that standard or is in compliance with those rules.
Can we hear
So
from the-
I would suggest to my colleagues that we not even consider this.
Can we hear from the attorney? Why?
Oh, I don't think, as legal counsel, I would not speak to the merits of the program or why.
Why are we entertaining this on the agenda?
I couldn't provide an explanation for that.
Could it be because the small business development center in Plainfield might benefit the residents? Is that,
But I'm looking toward the administration to
is that?
give us the answer.
This is a request by the mayor.
Can I have a comment? I'm gonna let you come up there. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Councilwoman.
Yeah, the thing is that, all the other satellites, all the other ones are located on college campuses. So again, and I mentioned this a couple of times, why would we be paying a for-profit entity to rent space? In the intervening time, and actually before it came before us in May, I spoke to the library, and they have their business center. They said they'd be more than happy to house the satellite or whatever in Plainfield. They have, they have the facilities. If you've been to the library recently, you know that huge room that faces onto the park. The other thing is, again, I don't understand why Plainfield is expected to pay any money for this program. If you look in Bergen County, in Passaic County, everywhere else, there's no reason why the program, the satellite, couldn't be at Union County College, working with Kane. So it just seems to me an ill fit, and it's just to possibly, line the pockets of some people. When this came before us a few months ago, the questions that we asked were answered very, very vaguely. So I just don't see why taxpayers should be paying for something as vague as this, and there's no benefit to the city or to entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Administration, do you have any comments to make regarding this?
No, other than the one I made prior.
Okay, so I go to,
Well, I wanted to just hear from the guy from King College as to why we're requesting these funds. You're requesting these funds?
Thank you for allowing me to speak for a few moments. My name is Nathaniel Sims, Director of the New Jersey Small Business Development Center.
Speak loud.
My name is Nathaniel Sims, Director of the New Jersey Small Business Development Center at Kane University. It was mentioned that we're a for-profit, we're a non-profit organization.
No, I meant the place where the rent would be paid, because in
Now-
looking at the document, most of the courses are
Let her
over
finish,
at the
please.
Department of Labor anyway.
Wait a minute. The proposal is for $30,000, of which a portion, $9,000, is to pay rent for our offices. The other $21,000 is to pay for consultant services. Now, we have been housed at the satellite center there on Park Avenue for the past 10 years, and we were funded by the UEZ grant for that 10-year period. The grant expired last September through the UAZ because of their change in the funding. And we were requesting this proposal for the city council to allow us to have that center so that we could serve the businesses and individuals in the city of Plainfield. We've been serving this Plainfield area for 10 years, even more than 10 years. And this past year, these past 2 years, we have extended our services to include the 2 disasters that we had, the Hurricane Irene and the Hurricane Sandy, just recently. And in addition, the state of New Jersey has received another grant to allow us to assist those businesses affected by physically and economically to to repair their businesses and also to get ready for another storm. We've done a considerable amount of research on this, and
I'm sorry, we got a couple minutes.
and this new grant that just came out about 4 days ago will allow us to have technical expertise for those businesses in this area who have been affected physically and economically by the storm, and also to get ready for the storms that are coming up in the future. So that's the main thrust of this new grant that we have coming through.
Thank you so much.
So with regard to this new grant, then why are we paying?
The new grant is for technical services.
Meaning what?
We use consultants, we use paid professionals
Right,
to
but
assist these businesses.
so my question then is, why is there $21,000 for consultants?
That's for
On
over and above the 21,000.
No, I guess my question is, if you received a grant, why is whoever it is coming to Plainfield to ask money from our city?
It's the New Jersey Small Business Development Center that's coming before you.
Right.
Of
But I'm saying, I don't understand why they're coming to us. What other cities are paying you to do this?
Oh, the Kane Center?
No, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about, the whole state program.
The state
Bergen,
program,
say everybody.
Bergen has a similar program. In
So
fact,
which cities are paying Bergen County, or which cities are paying NJ Small Business for this program?
each city has their own satellite centers. I can't say specifically which city in Bergen County or which city in Atlantic County or Camden County are paying for it, because each city has a separate group of satellite centers, and they do receive funding from other sources.
If potential entrepreneurs wanted to go to Kane University to take advantage of the program, since it's at Kane, how much do they have to pay?
They don't pay anything.
So what does Kane pay its consultants?
We pay our consultants on an hourly rate.
So my question, I guess, then is, so why then is Kane not paying the consultants who are in Plainfield? Why does Plainfield have to pay if it's a Kane program?
No, we have budgets the same as any other organization, and this budget does not include the services for consultants in the city of Plainfield.
So again, I guess,
Okay.
the question is, why are,
Yes,
why would the city of Plainfield pay? And then the other part of it is, aside from the consultants, in looking through the documentation, most of these things are happening at the county building, so why would we pay $9,000 to a private concern for rent? And especially because the library's business center is available and accessible for this.
We contacted the
May I interrupt, and let's get some consensus on this. And I'll start with Ms. Greaves. What's your vote to add it to the agenda?
No.
Okay,
I still have.
okay. Ms. Williams, what's your vote?
I say
Add
no.
it to the agenda, no. Mrs. Brown?
I still had a question.
Okay, go ahead.
You said that, good evening, you said that this center has been in Plainfield for the last 10 years. 10 years?
10 years.
How has the residents of our city benefited from this program in the last 10 years?
We have assisted individuals who have been out of work, who wanted to go into entrepreneurship. They get one-on-one consulting from us in order to start a business. We assist them in putting together business plans and financial packages. We assist them in finding sites. We assist them in all matters pertaining to small business. And we work with them over a period of time. We don't have any specific. In addition, we do workshops and training sessions in other places in Plainfield. We do them at the Department of Labor building there on 2nd Street. We do them at one of the banks, more than one of the local banks here. And we do it sometimes, we do give the workshops at the incubator itself at 320 Park Avenue. So we do training and one-on-one counseling.
Thank you. My
Thank
vote
you.
is my vote is yes.
Okay, Mr. Storch?
Before I indicate,
Okay,
I don't have a question, but I do want to make a comment, because
go ahead.
this proposal has come up, to the council every year that I've been on the council. That's a few years.
Yeah.
And my objection, I've generally voted no on this proposal, because when the statistics are provided, they don't really indicate that there's been positive outcomes.
We can't hear you.
For example, my microphone is not working. Okay. So, in the statistics that we have here, 480 clients were counseled, and I think this must be employment counseling for people that are unemployed.
No, not all, no.
So some of these people are unemployed, some of them.
Some people are employed. They want to have another source of income,
Okay.
so they want to start a
So it's
business.
employment counseling.
So no, it's not employment counseling. It's small business counseling.
So 480 people were counseled on how they might start or expand a business.
Yes.
Okay. And it doesn't really indicate like how many of those people actually started or expanded a business, but further down it does say new business starts. It's hard to tell if that's connected to the counseling. But the new business starts in 2012 were 9. So I just think that we have to rethink our economic development activities, and we have to invest funds where we're going to see results. And if we don't get good results, we have to do things differently. And I think this is an example of where we need to do things differently. This has been given a chance for well over 10 years, and I think we need a different approach. So I don't want to put this on the agenda. And in fact, we already had this on the agenda. We had this discussion. We had this presentation. There is no new information.
Okay, there's 4 votes against it, so it does fail. You go ahead, Senator.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to make one additional point.
Yes.
I think beyond all of the, metrics that probably don't make sense, I think an important point to consider is that the city of Plainfield is not procuring any goods or service from Kane. And a municipality can only spend its money to pay for goods and or services that it has, purchased, acquired from an entity with whom it has some kind of a contract. That doesn't exist here. And so I am sure that the Corporation Council can find a reference in law, but I think it's to the benefit of this governing body to know that municipalities cannot give this money away to either profit or not-for-profit entities. The service has got to be a service or a good that can be provided to the municipality, and that's not what we have here. So I think that's more than anything else is the reason why we should not part with $30,000.
It's not on the agenda, and may I continue? Resolution R, authorizing a contract extension to the Brownfield Redevelopment Solution Inc. for the assessment and remediation of brownfields in the city of Plainfield in the amount not to exceed $5,000.
Yes.
Okay. Item S, resolution authorizing an increase an increase in the contract awarded to CHS Sanders Construction in the amount not to exceed $2,700 for a total amount not to exceed $16,350 to complete the destruction of the property located at 326 Leland Avenue. I like that word, destruction. Deconstruction. Do I have consensus on it, or any questions relative to this? Yes,
I
Ms.
have a
Williams.
question. This, again, this is dated in June. This came up and we kind of rejected it. I don't understand why it's coming back before us again. And especially, you know, I still maintain that there seems to be a conflict of interest with someone who's appointed to an agency instrumentality of the city, the PMUA board, having a city contract anyway. I don't know. I'm sure that I will be corrected, but.
Yeah, so what's your vote to add it to the agenda?
Well, I had a question, and that was why it's being brought back again.
Council President, if I may, to explain the difference. The last time this came before you, the amount of money that was sought was in excess of the 20% threshold required for additional work on a contract. Since that time, we have had discussions and negotiations with principals of CHS who have agreed to compromise their bill to the 20% mark. That's why the amount before you is in compliance with procurement law. So that is the difference between what you saw previously and what you saw today.
So what about the other question?
As previously stated, I think we, Councilwoman Williams, we've discussed this, and I'll reiterate my position on which I have put in writing, is that there is no conflict for Mr. Sanders to do work with the city of Plainfield because the PMUA is a separate entity. Regardless of the language which I have seen, which refers to as an agency or instrumentality, it is a separate entity with its own governing board, and its own legal counsel, and therefore the code of ethics as set forth in our code is not applicable, nor is the local government ethics law. Mr. Sanders is in no way in violation of either one of those bodies of law.
Thank you. Your vote, Ms. Williams?
No.
Okay, Reverend Brown?
Yes.
A question.
Starch?
Just a question. The original agreement was for a certain price to take away an eyesore on Leland Avenue. I remember it well because I was a big advocate for it, so I'm glad that the project was done. When a vendor agrees to a price with the city, and let's say the vendor actually gets the job done for less than they thought, do they refund their savings to the city?
No.
Well, I mean, certainly they submit an invoice for the work that's done. In this case, there were unforeseen circumstances.
It's a contract, right?
Well, that's correct, yeah, but they have to submit invoices for the work that was done.
Right, so they would submit a bill for the amount that was agreed upon.
In that hypothetical situation, most likely.
In the real world
That's correct.
as well. So,
But in this situation, there were certainly unforeseen circumstances that required overages that we discussed. There was the location of a safe, which required environmental remediation that was not known to the contractor when taking the job. We all agree on that. There was something that was unforeseen, which required additional work to be done by outside contractors that CHS had to hire. But which is far in excess of $2,700. They were willing to compromise that so that they can be in compliance with local procurement law.
I thought a contract was a contract. Except in government.
Change orders exist.
Government likes to spend more.
Where's your vote, Mr.
No.
Starch? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
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 Okay, it's on. And you can vote next week, yes or no. Item T, resolution authorizing the introduction of the fiscal year 2013 operating budget for Plainfield Special Improvement District Corporation, the SID, in the amount of $240,019 and scheduling a public hearing date and tax assessment roll.
Yes.
I have a question on this.
Go ahead.
There's a $240,000 mention, but there's also $217,000 that is in the resolution, and I'm not sure what the amount really is. Is it 240 or is it 217?
Maybe clear that up, Mr. Vincent.
217.
217, that's better. It's 217,000 in the resolution.
Is there anyone from the SID here?
Yes.
That can speak? I think we should hear from the SID
As well.
This is kind of high. Good evening, guys. Yeah, I'm here.
Your name and address, please.
My name is Mario Frank Leon. I'm from Farragut Road in Plainfield. I'm speaking for David. David Biagini. He's my boss for SID. And in our whole budget, it did come out to 217. I don't know why it says 240 here.
It's 217,000 even.
217, 375.
Okay.
And then with various expenses, I have the list right here. I can print out a copy for you guys and.
Sir, so you are in agreement that the correct amount is 217?
375.
From the email that I've got from him, yes, but let me get in contact with David and confirm that for you guys.
So my recommendation is for us to move this forward pending the verification of the number.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Anybody have any objection to that?
No.
Okay. Item U, resolution authorizing the Plainfield Crescent Area Historic District to install 46 concrete decoration planters within its district boundaries of public right-of-ways. And this doesn't cost the city. It's given by, as I understand this, is the Plainfield Crescent Area Historic District that will be installing, and we're just approving the installation without any funds. Am I correct? Thank you.
I think, could we get somebody just to come up and just say a few words about this project? This is a
Yes,
great
please.
project.
Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Brian, Jen and Rich, and we're all live in the Crescent Avenue Historic District. The whole purpose of it is to really kind of get like a community feel for it and get people involved. So we figured that the planters was a way to get people to kind of come together to do something small to make a big difference. The money is all stuff that we're raising to, so we're ultimately paying for this. We're getting all the plant material. The city has there's no financial liability for the city. This all falls on the district. We've agreed to maintain them. We have a committee that's going to maintain them throughout the seasons, changing plant materials and everything.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's on the agenda, folks? Yes. Okay. Item V, resolution authorizing a determination of need for the proposed mixed-use retail housing development on the property identified as Block 622, Lot 5, commonly known as 1024, 1034 South Avenue, and Block 645 and Lot 28, known as 1013, 1021 South Avenue. Do I have permission to put that on? Any objections? Item W, resolution authorizing escrow refunds for 2 payees. I don't think we have.
Yes.
Yes.
Moving along. Resolution authorizing an escrow refund in the amount of $500 to Mr. Green, LaShawn Green, for the property located at 1159 Stillman Avenue. Any problems with that? No? It's on the agenda. Introduction of ordinances on the first reading. MC 2013-07 is an ordinance amending Chapter 3 of the agency's board, commissions, and committees to establish a Plainfield African Caribbean Commission. And I think we have some of the people here. I'd like to have a further explanation of what this is about. And if anyone would like to come up and discuss it, I would appreciate it. And I think the council would too. Mr. Martin, are you?
No. I'm sorry.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Fatou Njai from the Plainfield African Caribbean Committee. So I'm here to entertain any questions that you might have.
Your address?
My address is 1258 Florence Avenue, Plainfield.
We just need to know what this is about, what you're going to do, is it any money you're looking for the city, and so forth and so on.
We wouldn't need any more money than any other commission would need. Basically, what we do is provide services and act as a liaison to African immigrants and Caribbean immigrants in the Plainfield area, whether it be legal services that they may need, health, education, and of course immigration information.
Okay, when you say you don't need any more money than any other commission needs, that is a quite gulf. How much do you think, have you established a budget? Or?
No, we have not established a budget because most of the funds that we'll be relying on will be from grants.
Okay.
Yes.
And you do some of your own fundraising, don't you?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
You
the
do some
question.
of your own fundraising, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Does anyone else on the council have any questions that they would like to ask?
Yes, I do. Has this been an active committee or commission?
Yes, well, we're just a committee at this point. We've been meeting for about a year now, since last August.
Okay. And has a mission been established, and who are the current members of the committee and how many members?
Okay, yes, we do have a mission. We have vision statement and objectives. We have most of our members are here with us. We have, yes, I guess you could stand. One of our members had a prior engagement, and so he is not available this evening. So I'm speaking in his stead.
And I have to confess, I didn't read the ordinance that was drafted, but must someone be from Africa or from the Caribbean in order to be a member of the commission?
No, they don't have to be, no, because actually it started out as the African Commission. We had one member from Guyana, so we expanded it to be the African Caribbean Committee.
Well, I don't mean Guyana because, geopolitically that's considered.
Yes, we know that, yes.
The Caribbean. But beyond that,
Well,
let's say you were from New Jersey.
Yes, that's not a problem. It's just that we are attempting to service African immigrants and immigrants from the Caribbean. That's part of our objective and our vision statement.
So membership is not.
Yes, it's not confined to just people from or residents from those areas.
Thank you. Any other questions from any of the, yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Stewart?
I don't have a question for the young lady, but in light of the fact that years ago we created a Hispanic commission, and it doesn't appear to be functioning right now. Is there anybody in the administration that could explain like what happened? And I just want to get a better understanding of what we're doing with these commissions. This, it sounds like a great idea. In fact, it sounds like it's already a good idea because you're providing a service. But what's the city's role in this, other than, I guess we have to establish it officially? I mean, it could function as a committee without being a commission. But whatever happened to our Hispanic commission? And why isn't it functioning?
That would be up to you.
Hopefully you won't suffer the same fate.
No, I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt that.
But I think we need to, be very even-handed in how we create these commissions and support them equally. So I think it's something that the city needs to deal with, regardless of what happens with this commission. All these commissions have to be supported.
I had a question. There's nothing, I don't have anything in the packet on it.
It was,
Make sure she get a copy of it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't read it.
okay, and the administration, would you get us the information prior to the vote next week, if we get it approved, put on the council, and I'll go down, Mrs. Grieve?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes? Yes? Yes. It's on the agenda for next week for voting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
With it. Insist on doing it right. I move to the next and the last item on our agenda, MC 2013-08, an ordinance amending Article 3, Chapter 16, which is the Local Emergency Management Council of the Municipal Code of the City of Plainfield by providing for creation of a community emergency response team. And may I have some explanation on that, Mr. Administrator?
I don't see anyone from the Office of Emergency Management unless I'm...
Is there anyone from the Office of Emergency Management out there?
I'll happily speak to it if there's no one here. Basically, the Community Emergency Response Team has been headed informally by the Emergency Management Coordinator over the last few months. Basically, what we recognized in the wake of Hurricane Sandy was that it was necessary to have more community involvement to aid in disaster response. And this CERT team will be trained through FEMA, and the areas of training are set out in Section 4. These individuals will be nominated by the mayor with advice and consent of the council, and they will assist in disaster relief. This is a CERT teams have been established all over the state of New Jersey, and I understand that we've had our first CERT team go through the initial training, and now CERT is looking to be recognized by the city going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. And do I have permission to add it to the agenda?
Question?
Yes.
I
Okay.
have a question. I have a question.
Yes, go, Mr. Starks.
As with my concern about the Hispanic Commission, all these things are good ideas, but they're only worthwhile if they're done properly. So we have this, here we are, the agenda fixing, and where's the emergency management coordinator to present this to us? I mean, I think this deserves a presentation. Of course, he could do it next month, but I mean, I just think we have to have our act together, and we're going. This is a serious proposal, and it's important. It could be something that saves people's lives. So, at the very least, there should be somebody in charge of it, instead of having our city attorney explaining it to us. That's not the way we should be working. Somebody should be here. So really can speak to these things, because this is important.
Council President, I assure you there is a structure in place. It has been operating. With your indulgence, we'll have someone here before the vote in the regular session to provide a presentation on all the specifics of the program before the council has an opportunity to vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the last item that I want to say is we did receive from our Plainfield Charter Study Commission a final report dated August 6, 2013, And I'd like to know from the council, what are the next steps as it relates to this charter? And do the council have any vote on it or comments?
We thought it was a good idea for the Charter Study Commission to actually come before the council and make a presentation. We thought it was a good idea for the Charter Study Commission members to actually come before the council and make a presentation at the next agenda fixing session or the next regular meeting. In which case, there has to be an act by the council, either, it says by ordinance, meaning that it requires 2 readings and a public hearing. It's really a resolution that would then be sent down to the state legislature, who would then have to act on the amendments.
Okay, so tonight we do nothing, and you will have somebody here say next week to discuss this further. Thank you very much. I'll turn it over to Madam President.
Now we have citizens' participation.
With your permission, Council President, I see a very dear friend and former colleague who has been under the weather for quite some time. She just came in, and I would just like to recognize our former colleague, Ms. Joanne Hollis. And I'm glad to see you, and I wish you well and continued recovery and good health.
Thank you.
And she is a commissioner of the Plainfield Housing Authority and the president of the West End Development Resident Association. And they're trying to get themselves straight on that. Thank you for coming.
Citizens are welcome to address the council on any governmental item of concern to them, whether or not it is scheduled on the agenda above. During this portion of the agenda, a total of 60 minutes has been allocated to all public comments to be presented. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name and address to the clerk for the record. The amount of discussion on any single item, on any single subject, as well as the amount of time that any single speaker is allowed will be limited to 5 minutes. Large groups are urged to select someone to represent them. Represent the board.
Thank you. John E. Pritchard, 723 Arlington Avenue, Plainfield. Several members of the council, there are several items I'd like to go over with you. First, that the liquor establishment that was in violation of city ordinances, the proprietor being busted for selling drinks to underage people, and also her daughter selling drugs. We can't look the other way, because if we do, there'll be more people getting hurt, maybe one killed, and I don't want to see that happen. I don't want Plainfield to become another Chicago in the 1930s, when we need another Elliott Ness to clean up this place. It's time, members of the city council, to tell that establishment to either clean up its act or get out of town. Now, item 2. I certainly hope that we realize that we have some of our sons and daughters serving in our armed forces, protecting our freedom, both at home and abroad. And it's time members of the city council, to submit a resolution supporting our military services and in their acts and their duties. They do their best to protect our freedom. I don't want Plainfield to become another Berkeley, California, where it turned anti-GI. And also, let's not forget those who went before us. Those who served in Vietnam, that's my generation's war. And with your permission, ladies and gentlemen of the council, I'd like to sing. They loved us so, every day in 100 ways, they told us so, in honesty, in affection, they told us so. They loved us so, every day in 100 ways, they showed us so, with loyalty and bravery, they showed us so. defenders, and they kept us free. They took an oath to guard us and fought for liberty. They loved us so, and we should know, for we love them so. Now, item 3. I'd like to, first of all, congratulate Councilman Matt and Councilman Williams for attending the commemoration of the closing of Muhlenberg. And I know that Councilman Matt has not changed his position one iota, neither have I. And both of us agree that we need to reactivate Muhlenberg. I have here an article which I'd like to submit to the members of the council regarding the Supreme Court unanimously rejecting antitrust immunity in hospital merger case. So, and I also would like to thank Debbie Dow for giving us news of this. We need a hospital. We need a full-service hospital that'll serve the people of Plainfield, and we need a hospital that is capable of mission, just like we need a police department and a fire department, and rescue squad and EMSs that are capable of mission. Are we going to let Solaris walk all over us? Oh, no, we're not going to do that. We need to make Solaris lay square eggs, and we need to reactivate Muhlenberg. Because let's face it, we're not talking about head colds or earaches, we're talking about many people's lives. And the sooner we reactivate Muhlenberg, the better off we all will be. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, all right. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Joanne Howard, 535 West 3rd Street. Again, Joanne Hollis, 535 West 3rd Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. First of all, I would like to say congratulations to Councilman Matt and Bridget Rivers in your election. Then I would like to thank y'all for every prayer that y'all went through with me. I too wish that the hospital was here, because I don't know if any of you know, but I like to lost my life in trying to get me to Robert Wood back in November, directly the day after the elections. And we definitely need, if nothing else, a heart hospital. I am in the need of a heart, but I am still working on God's faith. So I thank each and every one of you for your prayers, and I'm also reaching out to the churches. I would like to thank Councilman Reed and Mr. Dan Damon and the city of Plainfield. You know, if nothing else, we lost the grant for the Housing Authority for the Elm West Residents Association, where we sponsor our children. And I reached out to Mr. Dan Damon, and I asked him if he can help me get some sponsors. And I also spoke with Councilman Reed. And sometimes when people do things, you don't be able to thank them in time. So I just like to thank them, because they did help out where we do have a summer program for our children. It is not about the adults, it's about the children today. We are losing them every day. And sometimes when there's a cut, the first thing we do is cut seniors and children. But when the election comes, everybody knock on doors and want parents to vote for them. Let's all stand together and try to pull together the full unity in the midst of this city. Second of all, I would like to talk about, because I know I've got a little bit of time, I would like to talk about, please, someone talk to the taxi cab drivers. It takes me long to get out of a car. They swoosh right through you. They don't care, and they just don't have respect for cars on the street. The kids, you know, this is the summer. They just died out there, And we, again, I'm gonna come back at y'all. We need speed bumps or something over at Hannah Atkins, because I think it's a raceway down 3rd Street. And the police department was over on 4th Street at Shower Church getting guns, and they was riding through. And I said to one of the officers, how fast was he going? Because I know he was going 90. You got to stop this before these people start back hitting these children, because they just got out there in front of these cars. And it's time for y'all to do something to ask them to respect the speed limit. If you pull over the citizens, you got to pull these cab drivers over. There's no respect with none of them. They just drive like they're maniacs. I understand they have to get you from place to place, but when people are seniors and you just ride by, you can take somebody's door off. It's time for y'all to step up. And I wanted to also say, I know I was gone for 8 months, but I am so disappointed in this council with the downtown. We need something like Lure and you know, your businesses. All I see is mattresses, suitcases. I'm about tired of looking at that. We don't have, I understand people got businesses and I want them to sell them, but they should not have every other store outside with mattresses, just selling mattresses. It's other things. We used to have shoe stores, Tom McCann's, Nationals, Miles. You had good clothing stores. We got to bring in the businesses. Instead of we all arguing with one another, we got to pull together and bring in the businesses, and that's how we bring revenue in this city. Just riding through, and it just disappointed me. This is the summer. You don't need to look at mattresses all over the place. You know, keep your business on the inside, maybe one, but you just take a ride down Front Street, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I just thank each and every one of y'all. I can't talk much. I just ask that y'all all keep me in prayer. I did see you had housing up there. I can't say anything, but the only thing I want to say to each and every one of you, you know the people, make sure you send in, if you're sending some, the right ones, that have residents at heart. Let's stop this political craziness. I put you on because you my friend. I put you on because you my friend. Let's put on people of concern. That's all I ask. I don't tell anyone how to vote. I never did because I've always been an independent person myself. But I just asked us to be very honest with what we do. That's all. Thank you, each and every one of you.
Thank you
as much. Oh, and I forgot, we had some wonderful sponsors that came in to help out. We even had Miss Oliver Lynch brought down horse training for the children. They never had that before. Free lessons. Thank each and every one of them, because they probably wouldn't have came out and Mr. Damon wouldn't have put these things out on his blog. So sometimes these blogs are excellent because they go all around, not just here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the comments.
Hello, my name is Maisie Burnley. I live at 972 West 6th Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. I've been a member of the Plainfield Senior Citizens Center since 2002. I, along with many other members of the Senior Center, we have concerns. We have petitions here, we have other signatures that are coming. To the members of the City Council, we, the members of the Plainfield Senior Citizens Center, support our Center and the Director, Sharon Brown. We are very upset by the portrait that has been painted of our center by a select few. Many of us were at the center at the last election. Ms. Brown had nothing to do with it, and everything was done in front of the seniors to assure that it was honest. We are not told to eat stale donuts, and no one is denied being fed lunch. As long as there is food left, people are served. The staff serves the handicapped first, and after lunch, they pick up the trays from everybody. We were told by the county that we have one of the best centers in Union County, and that we have more activities than other centers. We have a lot of things to do, and we're not disrespected. In fact, Ms. Brown goes out of her way to make sure that we have everything that we need. As long as people are respectful and obey the rules, there are no problems. The negative image that is being sent out to Plainfield and the surrounding communities makes all of us look bad, and we want it to stop. Attached is a list of some of the activities we have at the center. Attached is some of the signatures of the people that have signed. As I said, more will come. Also, there was an accusation of money being taken. This is from the president of the pool room as well as the vice president, to whom it may concern, from the Plainfield pool team. This letter is in regard to the Plainfield Senior Citizens Center Director, Sharon Brown. As far as the pool room team at the center, we have no, as far as the pool room team at the center, we have no knowledge of any money that's being taken for our treasurer, Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown has no access to our funds, nor is she a signer on our account. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact our President, Lonnie Jones, or Vice President, George Smith. We just want everything to be done decently and in order. We don't want, when we go outside the community, people saying, what's going on at that crazy center? People are saying things that makes all of us look bad. And a lot of us work hard to try to have things come at the center. And we want, if there's a disagreement, people to be able to sit down and solve the disagreements. That's why we have a grievance committee. I've spoken to some officials in this city about 4 or 5 years ago, and they said, okay, set up a committee. We set up the grievance committee, and the seniors elected these people to serve on the grievance committee. And that's the CARES committee. So what I'm saying is that if there are grievances, they need to be done in the right way, instead of sending out a negative image to all of Plainfield and all of the surrounding communities. Plainfield already has a negative image. We don't need to add this to it. Here are the petitions, here are the letters. Thank you. Okay? And there are more.
Good evening, Council. My name is Sandra Taylor Williams. So I want to make sure everybody hears what I have to say. I live at 312 New Street here in Plainfield, New Jersey. Right now, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate. I have a rhetorical statement for Corey Storch, who said something to me a couple of weeks ago about a city employee named Sharon Brown. You took the content of the word crazy out of its element. Crazy is something people use, it's a slang word. When I said crazy things that she does, you took it out of content. If she has a battle to fight, let her fight her own battle. You don't need to fight it with her. But anyway, to use for instance, if a person say, I walked to the top of the Empire State Building, you say, oh, no, you didn't, you crazy. That's for instance. Or somebody said, I jumped out of an airplane without a parachute. Then they'd say, oh, you crazy. That's a slang word. Maybe you can't understand it or don't know anything about that word. But if I had said she was demented, insane, out of her mind or whatever, which is questionable, then you would have something to discuss with me about. But I didn't say that. I said she does crazy things. That's what I said. And I have names of people who she has done things to that are willing to go to court with me when I take her to court, so everybody will know it for the things that she has done. And in the years that I have been at the center, I have never seen you there, Corey Storch, so you don't know what's going on down there. A lot of people are very upset of how the center is run. A lot of people. And why isn't Mrs. Brown here to defend for herself? She has to send a mouthpiece. Anyway, the word I'm looking for to finish this statement is people in general. People assume things, don't they? They assume. You should never assume until you know. The word is spelled A-S-S-U. I'm not going to finish the rest of it. Turn the word around the way you feel it. Thank you.
Good evening, Alan Goldstein, 939 Madison Avenue. I like this agenda because it's kind of like the alignment of the stars. Everything was coming together. And only a handful of resolutions and petitions to the council. And as I was reading through several of these, and I think you know which ones I'm referring to because I've spoken about them in the past, you had resolutions that touched on the state's local government ethics law. There have been violations, despite what Mr. Mincello may say. Violations of the PMUA's Code of Ethical Conduct. We're talking about the CHS contract for the deconstruction of Newlands. I think it's made more understandable when you realize that that contract was sandwiched in between the time he first became a commissioner and a few weeks later handing out $1 million of ratepayers' money. The PMUA's Code of Ethical Conduct says that no employee of PMUA should be doing business with anybody who's also doing business with the PMUA. And the city being the largest customer of the PMUA, I think it's absolutely obvious where the conflicts lie. There are also conflicts right here on the city council, with people voting on their replacements, people voting for people who are not going to look under the rocks and see the misdeeds and negligence, which with how they handled their positions as commissioners over the years that they were on that board. Some of the resolutions touched on the Workforce Investment Act, where the city and some of the individuals who were part of some of these resolutions had plenty of experience violating. The resolutions that have to deal with New Jersey election laws and local pay-to-play law violations, contract laws in general, and criminal law, the 10 Commandments, do not steal, local ordinances that set limitations that are violated and ignored. And I wrote down this list, and the last thing I wrote down was racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations, RICO laws. And lo and behold, when I got to the library today to see the agenda, and I looked through this package, there's one person's name who does not come up on that list of names for PMUA commissioners, and that's alternate number 2, who happens to be an attorney who specializes in securities fraud and RICO cases, defending them. So I say he's going to be in the right spot if he ever gets on this board. But you know, this agenda was just like everything coming together. All the problems that keep this city down, all the deep, deep problems that people know about, don't want to talk about, excuse, that keep legitimate opportunities away from our citizenry. So I think you did some good stuff tonight, and I think you need to be going a little bit deeper and avoiding some of the conflicts that are very, very evident. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Arturo Torres. I'm the owner of Acme Windows at 36 Somerset Street in Plainfield. I'm one of the very unhappy business owners in the area that surrounds the municipal parking lot. About the festivals that they do like every year, once, twice. Looks like it's probably 3 times a year. I like to say that that is affecting very much our business. We need to close like for 3 or 4 days. Once the festival is finished, the parking lot is a mess. There's a lot of garbage. The people that fry food, they just drain the oil at the drainer that goes to the brook. A lot of drunk people around. Customers, they don't like to come to the downtown area. When it's all these people drinking and walking on the streets, kind of bothering other people. A lot of kids in the area also. They put these rides also in the parking lot, so parents can bring their kids to the rides. I don't think it's a safe place, when on one end of the parking lot, people is drinking like crazy, and on the other end, there is Watchung Avenue, the exit of the entrance from Watchung Avenue. You got kids playing. I think it's very dangerous. It's really affecting my business. I had to close for 4 days. I don't think it's fair.
That's right.
I talked to Edison, the owner of Fire Owners, about this. All he suggests me is like to open a spot and sell piña colada. I don't think that's fair. I work hard for my business. I've been in business for too many years. And Unfortunately, I got to this meeting a little late. Looks like they talked about that issue already, so I have no idea if they gave me the permit or not. I'm just one of too many owners in the area. I've been talking to a lot of them, and everybody's unhappy. The Plainfield Farmer Market and a bunch of other business in the Somerset Street. I think you guys should reconsider giving this person the permits to use the parking lot. I have a few pictures that I take after the festival is over, so you can see which are nice, the kind of mess that they leave. I'm not talking about just food. I'm talking about people using the side of the trucks, park or whatever as bathrooms. So it's not fair that we have to come on Monday and use my employees to clean the parking lot. It's oil spit all over the place, and it really smells really bad. We're very unhappy. We don't know about these meetings, we heard about, somebody told me today that this meeting was gonna be at 8 o'clock. It looks like it started a little earlier. But I have these pictures, and I'm just talking for all the other business owners in the area that we're not happy. So I'd like to give this picture. So, and I would suggest maybe to, if I can give suggestions, maybe to, if he wants to do that festival, maybe let him use another space, not the parking lot, other business owners. We have to share the parking lot. I had to close my business so this guy can make money. I don't think it's fair. If I do the same to him, I don't know if he was going to be very happy. He only worried about his pocket. He don't care about everybody else. This past weekend was another festival on the other side of Watson Avenue, like connects with the Supremo supermarket parking lot. I think probably that's a nice place. I don't think nobody bothers nobody over there. It's not affecting other business owners. Supremo got their own parking lot, and in that area over there, nobody uses it for business. So I guess if they use that space in different dates, so they can both make money without affecting other people, I think that's a good idea. That's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Enrique Rodriguez, own 44 Somerset All-Star Video. I just want to say a little something about after what Arturo said. It's completely inconvenient for us. It's a lot of people piss on my door. Yeah, it's a good excuse to celebrate Independence Day. It's beautiful. But having another third party is it's like getting an excuse to make a business. Celebrating Central Independence or Central America, what kind of business we have with us? So I just asking think twice to give the permission to this guy. They only think about his pocket. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, and to the council. My name is Jenny Dean, 1414 Francis Lane. I stand before you on behalf of Reverend Dean, who is the senior pastor of Visions of God Family Worship Church. There is a property next to 350 Leland Avenue that is a sore eye. Watson Avenue and Leland Avenue. The lots are Lot 7 and 14, Block 405. This has become a problem to the community. The owner no longer lives in the state of New Jersey, and he does not care. There are several liens on this property. We have a forest growing up in the back. Sandy has brought down half of the building. It is a problem and it's terrible in the community. Reverend Dean on last Thursday sat down with the tax collectors. I believe his name is David Marshall, to inquire what were the liens and how much were the liens, and were they city liens or were they proper private liens. And we found out that there are $30,000, over $30,000 worth of liens on these two properties owned by one person. If you have not received Reverend Dean's letter as of yet, I do have a copy here. Reverend Dean would like to have the council to assign these liens to Visions of God Family Worship. We are trying to raise the money to build the community. And he can only do that if the council will allow him to do so. The property right now, the Watson Avenue property has 3 liens, 2 owned by the city, and the Leland Avenue has 2 liens owned by the city. Over $30,000, which Reverend Dean, right now we have 75% of the funds that we can give to the city of Plainfield that will bring in money for whatever reason. But we need the help from the council to just clean up the property. That's what Reverend Dean wants to do, just clean it up, knock the buildings down, pave it. The children are having a field day with this. They're going in this building, this abandoned building, which is half torn out. Reverend Dean has to go and run the children out. Anyone can get hurt. They are using this property as, at all times of the night. I come in because I am the administrator. I come and I see people all around there. There is no security. During Sandy, once Sandy hit Plainfield, the police, they put the tape down. The tape is gone. The sign is up for sale, but there is a battle in the courts and there are liens on it. Reverend Dean is trying to raise the revenue to get the community cleaned up. And we're asking, if you have not received the letters already, I have copies which I will give to you and you can review them. So this can be put on the agenda so we can go forward on Leland and Watson. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Are you aware that purchasing the liens does not give you the right or title to the property?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much, we appreciate it. Our attorney is looking into all of this. But what we're trying to do is just help the community. The church attorney is looking into a lot of the legal aspects of this, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Council. Corral Martin, 1201 East Front Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. I spoke on this a couple of months ago regarding the street work that was being done and the dirt that was thrown in the inlets and sewers. It's still there, not to mention other streets throughout the community. People are putting debris, garbage, bottles. It's a mess. I don't know whose responsibility that is to clean up our inlets. I mean, if you want to give me the job, I'd gladly go around and help the people to clean it up and find out why people aren't cleaning even in front of their doors. I think we need to start some sort of campaign again to beautify our town and let people know that we're not going to tolerate this. It's a mess. You can go from, even on 7th, I have friends that live there, nice young lady, home worth like $600,000. But a block before is garbage, just tossed. It's unacceptable. Someone needs to go door to door, speak to the people, find out what the problem is, and why aren't you cleaning up in front of your doors? Or promote it. It's terrible. But these inlets are awful, and we had 2 gas leaks in our area since they've been doing the street work. Leland Avenue had a gas leak. The people had to evacuate. I was out walking the dog. I'm right around the corner. Those potholes around there are a mess. I mean, all the way around Leland, and I don't even live there, but I'm concerned. As they're working, I don't think they're doing, I don't want to say it's not good. I think it could be done better. I think because they're coming from outside, they don't care enough. And this is why they're taking as long, leaving it sloppy, the hard rocks all over. I had to get them up in front of my area where I was at. But I appreciate someone came today and filled in a pothole on front, so I was grateful for that. But it's a mess. It really is. And I don't know why other people are concerned. You're not gonna improve your quality of life if we don't do something about this. It's terrible. The school, right there, with garbage all outside in front of the school. You know, they mowed the grass, but the people who mow says, well, that's not my job to clean it up. He said, look in the back. It looks even worse back there. I believe that's up to the custodians. But how long do it stay there? You know, I know they didn't put it there, someone did it, but we still gotta clean it up. So maybe they need to promote this inside the schools also. I don't know what's going on. Thank you. Any word on the East Second Street, with the bids, were they done properly for the revitalization of East Second Street, David?
I'm sorry, we can't respond to questions, we can do it the next meeting.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much, council, for hearing me out.
Thank you.
Hello. Okay, I had a complaint, Christina Richardson, 512A West 4th Street. I've been dealing with this situation for months now. I do not receive any income. I have a notice saying that I don't receive any income. My rent was not changed at my apartment. They're still charging me the same rent. I went to court several times trying to get it fixed. And then they keep telling me that they'll handle it, I never got anything in writing. I tried to get stuff in writing. Mr. Graham got an attitude with me and told me that he'll handle it and for me to get out of his office. When I first spoke to Mr. Graham, he told me there's no such thing as no income. And he asked me if I receive any child support. I don't have any children. I'm going to school full time. And he said, are you sure you're not receiving any child support? Like, you're discriminating me because I live in the projects? I'm living in housing. And I didn't appreciate that. On Thursday, I received a notice on my door after they told me they was going to change it and let me know how much rent I owe. I get a notice on my door that I have to move on the 14th. So I had to go to court this morning to make a longer date. And then I went into the office today and asked them, can I have a copy of my lease agreement? Mr. Graham told me I had to make an appointment for a copy of a paper.
Who's Mr. Graham?
He works for housing, she has to take that to housing authority. Have you spoken to housing authority?
Yes, I have spoken to housing authority numerous of times and nothing is getting fixed.
It's Eric Brown. Thank you.
Thank you.
Harold Hughes, 1353 Cushing Road. I'm not going to speak against anything right now, except I certainly agree with the comments that the two merchants from downtown made, and I think that we better take a good look at all these street closures that we do. We may do it out of the goodness of our heart and goodwill, but there is somebody that's being impacted upon when they happen in the business district. But I was going to talk about the second ordinance on the first reading, and this is the creation of the Community Emergency Response Team. I think this is long overdue. I gathered when I saw on a blog pictures of the city neighborhood night out fair, where there was a table with the 13 out there. Obviously, or apparently, this team has already been organized and functioning, and I don't know why members of the community have not been informed of it beforehand, so that those that would be interested in it could express their interest. There's a great deal of expertise in this community. which goes untapped because they do not know how or to get in touch or to be appointed to these boards or commissions. This again, I think, is one incident of the cart coming before the horse. This is long overdue, and I hope it works. It should work, but please let the community know about it and get involved.
Nancy King, 1129 Avenue. I also agree with the two merchants. Consideration should be given that they put up a bond to clean up. And if they don't clean up, they don't get the money back. A substantial amount of money. Because it was interesting to hear the gentleman talk about the brook. Because if you come down to Greenbrook Park after a rainstorm, if you see the cups that are floating in that brook, you think somebody just dumped all the garbage and is just floating down the Green Brook, and then it gets all along the litter path, all along the Green Brook. I'm sorry I don't have a picture to show you, but now I finally have the answer to where all that garbage is coming from. The other thing is a party ordinance. The city has to look into a nuisance party ordinance. 2 weekends ago, a week before last, there were 6 parties between Grand Avenue and Clinton Avenue. I have to commend the police because my girlfriend got me out of my house because she knew I was going to go off. And when I got back, the parties, believe it or not, were civilized because I'm sure the police came through and told them they had to turn it down. There's no reason that we have to have this kind of noise all the time and blasting in your house. Saturday night, again, 12 o'clock at night, couldn't sleep after working a hard day at work. I mean, I'm not a rich person. You know, I put in a 40, 50 hour day job. I gotta have my rest so I can get up and serve the people the next day. I really came out tonight because I really want to thank the dispatchers in the city. They're faceless people, they're on the phone, they respond when you call them, they've been decent. I've called them probably 5 times a week about certain issues. Tonight I had to call them because there was a crazy person driving up Front Street with green lights. I don't know what he thought he was doing, but he was pushing everybody out of his way. And the dispatcher was very responsible, professional, courteous, and I just want to give a shout out to the dispatchers because I don't think anybody realizes what they go through to help the citizens of the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bernice Packey, 12047th Street. I wanted to talk about the safe box, I believe that's what it's called, in the churches to put information on police tips. I live near 3 major churches, and there's about 100 on the rolls exempt. There's about 100 more storefront churches or churches that operate in tandem with existing churches. And almost everyone that I know of unfortunately has had to develop a security plan. They have alarms. They have to keep their doors locked unless there's services. The Unitarians just had to institute greater security about keeping the one door locked during services because people just get in there and you hear the alarm go off at Grace, at the UUs, I don't know about Crescent, but it's a serious problem. So it's not like the old days where you could stop in at any time, say a prayer, put some, light a candle, and if these boxes were installed, then, maybe make an anonymous note. The other thing that's crossed my mind was, how would they actually be collected? Our police, I think, even though they just hired a few more, I think they're pretty much, booked with chores and tasks. And with all that many churches around town, it just didn't seem feasible to, make arrangements to get to the churches, number one, when they're open, when somebody's there, and collect these items. So I hope this all will be taken into account as this idea proceeds.
Thank you, Mr. Aguirre.
How's it going, guys? Mario Leon, 11B Fairfield Road. Once again, speaking for the SID. I spoke to my boss, and the number on the agenda was from our fiscal year 2012. You guys mentioned the 217. I believe I think all you guys received the 217. That's the budget for this year. And wanted to see if we could advance to the first reading in August 19th.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, you're welcome. Enjoy, guys.
Cynthia Smith, 1431 Cooler Street, Plainfield, New Jersey. Tonight I'm speaking on behalf of the Plainfield Municipal Employees Association. Just asking the council to please reconsider the voting next week on the layoff plan before the state of New Jersey. As it stands now, you will only save a couple of months in the salary and wage line, because by the time you go through the process, it's going to be even more days already utilized. So you will probably save about 2 to 3 months work within the salary and wage line. We are about to go through another situation where we're changing over with the administrations. So when you lay off, you should also consider that when you remove people from divisions, you lose people that have the information that the new administration may possibly need as far as contacts, what they're working on, paperwork is all over the place and lost, and you have the changing of the guards that's going to take place at the same time. So you may do yourselves a disservice when you allow that layoff to go on as planned. Additionally, normally when we have layoffs, it's done in conjunction with the budget. So employees know beforehand if there's going to be a layoff, because they'll say they don't have the money, as with the last 2 layoffs. This time it was approved by the council in the budget, and then afterwards the resolution was not approved. So I think that that's unfair to those employees, because that could have been done beforehand with the budget, amendments could have been made, and then they could have voted up or down, but at least we would have known that it was coming, not after the budget was approved. The last thing I want to say, a lot of times when you do layoffs, you know that there are bumping rights. So sometimes where you think it's going to fall, it's not really where it ends up at. So again, I'm just asking the council to reconsider the layoff as it's scheduled, or going before the state, so be approved right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Sandoval. I'm representing Evangelical Mission of the Holy Spirit, which is 318 Central Avenue. We are the ones promoting the event on September 15th for the Central America celebration. I just want to give you a little bit of explanation of what it's about so that you can consider it when you're voting. Basically, we are doing a display of culture. It's not much of a party or anything like that. It's just we want to show what the cultures are from different countries in Central America. So it's more of a presentation, and we want people to have somewhere to go, have different areas, which is why we're requesting the closure of Central Avenue between 7th and 8th, because we want to put different stands where they can go and experience a little bit of the different culture from different countries. And we are also doing, we want people to experience it in a healthy way. Like, we want something family friendly, so there's not going to be any alcoholic beverages given out, nothing like that. Although we are a religious denomination, during the Prime event, it's not going to be any religious thing going on until later, from 5 to 8 o'clock. So everybody's welcome, anybody can come, and they can experience it for themselves. We just want to create a family-friendly environment. So we want you guys to consider that when you're voting, because what we want to do as a church is give back to the community. We recognize that the community is a lot of Hispanic people in the community, And we also know that there are events going on, similar events going on that could sometimes, like the people that came out before said, could create problems. We don't want that. We don't want to create problems. We want to create a family-friendly environment, and we have people that are going to be in charge of doing different areas. We have about 300 volunteers for that day that will be overseeing things. They're going to be make sure everything's cleaned up at the end of the event. So we want to have everything organized, and we want everything to be perfect for that day, because we want to do something for the community, not create a problem for the community. So we just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much.
Sir? Yes. Are you from the church that is right at the corner?
Yeah.
I just want to make a suggestion for you to take back to your church, that they advise the congregation not to park right at the corner. As every week, cars are parked right at the corner of Central and 8th.
Okay.
And it's a dangerous situation. Someone's car is going to be hit, there's going to be an accident. You're supposed to park X number of feet from the corner. So I would just like you to take that back.
Yeah, we just have a little bit of problem with parking, but yeah, we'll consider that. We'll have people look at that.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good night. I'm David Egelshi. I'm the senior pastor of the St. Church Evangelical Mission. This is my first time in one of these meetings. I came the other day and meet the judge, and I congratulate the job that they did every week here. We have this church since 1989. I started the church from the scratch. Pastor Frank Huber, they allow us to use their building with no rent, for no money, and they keeping us for many years. Now they decrease in members because the community changed. As you know, Plainfield has become Afro-American and Spanish community most. The other community are little. The reason I stay here because we've been in this city since 1989. I married in this city. I have 4 children. Our community is growing. We have about 600 members. And we don't have no temple. We still use same building. We may purchase the last synagogue in East and West 7. We may not. But I want you to know that the church, because we make a lot of activities every week, try to raise money to build our temple. Our desire is one day build our temple in Plainfield. We had other options, but we really love the city. Like 15 years ago, I encouraged my congregation, don't keep the money into the bank, buy property, and we buy one building in East 7th Street. With that building, we rented to poor people, and we still have got money. And then with the church, when the English church has one building for sale, I tell them, no, don't let nobody to buy this building because we need parking space. We put the church working hard. Our people make $400 per week, but we teach them to tithe, to give to the Lord. Anyway, we get that building. Our last challenger was, as you know, I want you to know, you know where our clinic was, in West 4th Street. That building was abandoned and vacant for a long time. And our desire was to give something back to the city. That's why we purchased that building. We fixed it up. We put new roof into that building. And we pay a lot of taxes into that since we purchased, we never used the building. But last year we find out that the previous owner, they don't pay the taxes. And we almost close to lose the building because there is a lien almost for 100 something in the property. But I teach my people to pray. We pray every day for this city. As you know, we have 3 services during the week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we always pray for you guys. To God give you direction, and to God give you wisdom to bring this city back to the years 40, years 30, because this will become again the king city. Anyway, 3 months ago, I filled up the application for the building in West 4 to become exempt because we had our office in that building. The tax assessor tell me in order for you to apply, you need to occupy the building. And then I went to the correct department and they gave me instruction how to do it. They said, you need to do parking lot. And I have to spend almost $30,000 and redo the parking lot. We selling food, cake every week, and we finish. But as now, we still don't have no answer from the tax assessor. My request is, I'm going to go back to the tax assessor this week when they, almost 3 weeks ago, we passed everything. And our office, our main office is in that building. We call that building our headquarters office because we have like 40 churches around. Yes, and what I want for you is to consider when this come to you guys, to consider to approve that exempt for that property in West 4.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Good luck.
Any more privilege of the floor? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close privilege of the floor?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any